What is going on, guys? This is Mr. DeLORIan here. Welcome to a brand new video. Today what we're doing is breaking down, reviewing episode 1 of season 10 of The Walking Dead. But without further ado, without wasting any time, let's hop right into breaking down this episode and then reviewing it. The episode opens with the satellite orbiting Earth, but slowly getting really close to Earth and everything, going kind of slowly but quickly all at the same time. Then we cut down to a shot of the ocean where we see a walker emerge from the ocean with a giant anchor hanging from it until he is slain by no other than Judith Grimes. We get to see a long sequence of Aaron's army training on the beaches near Oceanside. Basically, Jerry and Ezekiel let some walkers out from this crash boat or whatever, and Aaron and his army practiced their formation and tactics on taking out the walkers and, basically like praying for the whispers. But eventually, the walls to the boat and everything start to break and everything, and Jerry and Ezekiel back up to, possibly get prepared for a massive battle. And without any options left or anything, the wall falls and all the walkers start to come out of the boats. Everyone rushes into formation or anything, but Daryl and Michonne and a couple of others just take them out easily. We flash to Oceanside where we see Luke and a new character named Jules kind of flirting and talking while doing some craftsmanships, and I think. Then we cut to Dale and Michonne walking on Oceanside, observing everything and talking about other kids, aka RK and Judith, or RJ and Judith. Until we cut to them playing in the sand, RJ and Judith and everything, talking. And oddly enough or anything, RJ has actually really grown up a lot. But while Judith is digging in the sand, I think she discovers something quite disturbing. A Whisperer's mask. After the intro to The Walking Dead, we flash to Aaron talking to Gabriel and Alexandria over the radio, telling every community or anything to go into lockdown in case the Whisperers are near. Michonne interrupts them or anything and saying we don't want to cause a panic or anything, just tell them, just to be on alert or anything, but everything is fine at the moment. Then we cut to a group of a couple of people or anything on a horseback, including Aaron and Michonne or anything, scanning the area for Whisperers until everyone breaks off and we follow Aaron and Michonne. They talk about if they're the evil ones in this scenario, whatever, or if they're the evil people and everything, and they kind of have a bit of a mini debate and everything until Aaron spots some walkers on a bridge and everything approaching them, and he thinks there might be some Whisperers and everything, and his anger starts to take a hold of him, and he basically rides quickly towards the bridge to take out all the walkers. Aaron hops off his horse and everything and runs for the walkers and starts to kill them, but ends up getting pinned by one against a car. Michonne comes running to help and everything, kills the walkers, but confronts Aaron on how if they were Whisperers, he could have been killed. They argue but come to an agreement on the fact that they don't like living in fear and everything and having the border system of the Whisperers. But soon they get a call and everything with the rest of the group and ride for the call. When they arrive, Luke leads them to basically this mangled up camp and everything that was clearly invaded by something, either walkers or the Whisperers. Until Luke leads them further and everything behind a log, and they find a skin/naked corpse, and they think it might have been the Whisperers that did this. Back at Oceanside, Aaron and Michonne talk again how they don't like how things are with the borders and the Whisperers and living in constant fear, but Michonne reminds Aaron that they can't start a panic however because it could drive them all apart again. Aaron splits off and leaves Michonne and everything walking on Oceanside until Michonne overhears RJ and Judith talking or anything, and Judith is telling RJ the story of a brave man, or Rick, and how he died. Michonne gets sad or anything until she approaches them. Michonne gives them a long loving talk and everything about, the brave man or anything, aka Rick, and everything, why he did what he did and everything to help his family, and they kind of have a happy, hugging, loving moment. But then we cut to Alexandria where we can see Gabriel talking to Aaron over the radio, and he's very paranoid, and he's asking if the Whisperers are back. But then we flash to a cool and funny montage of Eugene taking care of baby Coco over some rap music. It's actually a really funny montage of pretty much Eugene, doing all the stuff for Coco and everything. We see changing his diapers, doing all this other stuff. He kind of pervs a little bit on Rosita even a little bit, but it's Eugene. What do you want? We then cut to Lydia, who's in school and everything with a bunch of little kids struggling to read. She's frustrated and everything until a group of Alexandrians burst in, telling everyone that they need the room and everyone needs to get out so they can have a meeting about the threat and alert and everything that's possibly in the area. Lydia goes outside to train with her stick and everything, and while she's training, we see Negan, who is looking at her concerned while picking some crops. He asks her if she's okay and everything, and they talk. He basically gives her some advice and everything, what to do if you're being looked at as the bad guy around the community and everything, because obviously everyone's looking at Lydia and everything just the same as everyone's looking at Negan. And she tells him why everyone is so tense and everything, because Negan says, why is everyone on alert or whatever, and she basically tells him that his skin was found. But while they're talking and everything, we get introduced also to another new character this season named Brandon. He basically comes in, tells Negan to get back to work and everything, and for Lydia to keep her distance away from Negan. We then cut to Sadiq and everything, who's inside his house taking care of Coco, until he starts getting some fucked up flashbacks from the night him and others were taken from Hilltop. Basically, everyone was decapitated. We don't get to see the decapitations or whatever, but we do see Alpha and everything sitting on a little place and everything, stroking her freaking bloody machete. And then we cut to Sadiq and everything, who's pretty much having a PTSD episode, and he's pretty much having all these fucked up flashbacks, and the screen's getting all blurry and everything until the man himself, Dante, enters the house. He basically comes to check if everything's all right and everything, and saying he could hear the baby crying from the infirmary and everything, saying she's crying bloody murder. Sadiq says he's fine or anything. He thanks Dante for coming or anything. Dante kind of acts a bit like funny or anything, like tough, not even like a tough guy, but just really funny. And he kind of just acts Dante-ish if you know the comics, whatever, aka just funny himself. Then we cut to Gabriel talking to Negan inside his cell. Negan basically says and gives advice to Gabriel, I think, saying everyone is turning on him one day or anything, but then ignoring him the next. He also gives some like advice to Gabriel, I think, to lie to the people that everyone is fine or everything is fine or anything, so people don't panic. But then Gabriel leaves Alexandria and anything and exits Alexandria only to like, you know, the front of Alexandria and everything to basically see that Alexandria's defenses have basically, you know, evolved with tons of like spikes and everything, everyone watching, new walls. Gabriel tells everyone to keep the gates locked and everything for the night, and then it happens. A massive explosion can be heard from above, and it's the satellite exploding and coming down from the sky. Eugene runs like, you know, from everyone and everything, and runs to his house, grabs the microphone for his radio, and basically says like that he needs to talk to Michonne because something really big could be happening, aka the satellite crashing down to Earth. We then flash to the ocean where Connie and Kelly are helping with fishing or anything until Kelly confesses to Connie that her hearing is getting worse. Connie calms her down and everything, and they kind of have a funny moment until Daryl arrives, and Kelly kind of like nudges to Connie, I think that Connie might have a bit of a crush. It's a funny moment. Then Daryl walks over to the docks and everything and waits for Carol and everything, and the boat to return with all the fish and everything. Him and Ezekiel kind of talk until the boat comes into like view and everything, and Carol is back. She gets off the boat and everything and talks to Daryl, and Daryl and her have like kind of a funny moment and everything. He kind of talks to Connie and everything, and basically like, you know, says that he's getting better at sign language. Him and Connie have like, I guess you could say a bit of a cute moment and everything, and a kind of a funny moment with dog and everything. Daryl and Carol go out on his motorcycle and everything, kill some walkers until they start to track a deer. The deer crosses Alpha's borders, and Daryl warns Carol not to cross the borders, I think, because obviously, you know, it can start a conflict. Carol gets mad at Daryl and everything that deer could have fed tons of people, and how he respects the borders is so dumb and it's just bullshit. We cut to Daryl and Carol having some lunch on a log and everything, and making up after their, you know, their, I guess you could say, kind of argument, or Carol getting mad at Daryl. They have a funny talk about friendship and everything, but also bring up a very concerning topic of running away to New Mexico. It's all around a fun convo, but while they're eating and everything and talking, it happens again. The same satellite explodes in the sky and everything. They get up and everything with their, like, you know, the log and everything, and look up and basically see the thing hurtling down to Earth. We flash tonight and everything, and everyone is at Oceanside. Carol and Daryl leading a group of people with kind of MacGyvered fire extinguishers and everything, and they end up crossing the borders towards the crash site and everything, and the fire, and basically start, you know, like spraying the fire with all the water and everything that they have. They start spraying the fire and everything, and everyone's doing the best they can and everything, going out on the outskirts and everything, digging like trenches and everything to make sure the fire doesn't spread, spraying it and everything. But there also are some people who are trying to stay alive and everything, since of course people are getting like sick from the smoke and everything getting into their lungs, and people are getting like basically unable to breathe. But if matters couldn't get any worse or anything, a walker, like I guess you could say a mini walker herd, starts to emerge and everything, and everyone starts to panic, thinking it might be the Whispers since they crossed the borders. Everyone gets like really panicked or anything, but continues to spray the fire again, while Daryl and his group or anything starts to take out the walkers, you know, very epically and everything. It's really cool. There's a whole montage of Daryl and everyone, you know, take out the walkers really coolly, especially this crossbow. And Daryl even has an epic moment where he takes an axe and everything and takes down a ton of walkers, I think, by throwing the axe at a tree and everything, and the tree falls on them. It's super cool. Time passes and all the walkers are dead and everything. Everyone's helping all the wounded people get out of the area and everything really quick before the Whispers find out that they crossed the borders. But before Michonne can tell everyone to leave and everything, Eugene alerts Michonne that they need to, you know, get like this like entire satellite out of here because they need to dismantle anything, because Eugene said there might be some technological advances that can help the communities or anything if they get, you know, the thing out. Michonne basically breaks and everything and basically says, yep, okay, fine. And she basically alerts everyone to tell like, and everyone to basically help like, you know, Eugene and everything, basically get, you know, the whole like satellite out and everything. So everyone starts to help Eugene dismantle it. Everyone starts taking it apart and everything, and basically getting all the parts across the border and everything, which is really a cool sequence. Michonne turns around and everything and tells everyone that they need to go now and everything, grab all the pieces for like the satellite thing and go now quickly. But then Michonne looks around and everything and basically asks, where is Carol and Daryl? We then cut to Carol and Daryl at the ledge of where Alpha's massive herd is supposed to be, I think, you know, on those rocks where, you know, Alpha took, you know, Daryl, but the herd is not there, weirdly enough. Daryl says that they should go and everything and follow the group and everything before, you know, they're seen on their side of the border. But Daryl starts walking and everything, but Carol stays for a couple more minutes and everything and spots something emerging from the, like, you know, the bushes or everything in the distance. And who is it? It's motherfucking Alpha. Alpha ends up, like, you know, seeing, like, you know, Carol standing on top of the rocks and everything. Carol ends up staring down at Alpha like, you killed my son. She doesn't actually say anything, but they have an epic stare down for a couple minutes and everything, and then the episode ends. It's on to the review. So this episode was actually a very, very good premiere. Pretty much everything I liked about this episode is pretty much all the character interactions, introducing of new characters, and just all the character interactions in general. I really liked the beach scene of them, like, you know, training. Pretty much I liked everything about this episode, especially the introduction of, like, you know, Jules, Dante, especially Dante and everything, since she's actually a pretty interesting guy. I like the whole sequence with, you know, like from all the angles of like, you know, where like the satellite explodes in the air and everything crashes down. I thought that was very well done, just really cool. I like the whole scene where they're trying to put out the fire and everything. I thought that was very cool. Like Daryl and Carol's whole interaction throughout the episode. I liked a lot of the like you know, emotional moments between RJ, you know, and Judith and, you know, Michonne and everything, talking about the brave men or anything, just all of that. I also really liked you know, the fire putting out scene and everything, that whole sequence of just everyone, you know, running for the fire, and it was all really epic and well done and everything, well shot especially. Just that whole sequence of everyone running, trying to put out the fire, just all of that and everything, just like it was just filmed really epically. The fire was really cool and like well done. And I also like the ending where it was like, it was a really good cliffhanger and everything, which The Walking Dead usually does not have a good thing with, like, you know, timeline of doing, which is cliffhangers. But this cliffhanger was really good and everything with, you know, like Carol and everything, having the epic stare down with Alpha. I might as well also include some things that I didn't exactly like, such as, you know, during like the beach scene where they were like killing all the walkers and anything when the wall broke down, when Michonne was slicing one of like the walkers, you could really easily tell it was computer generated, like, you know, CGI blood and like the head flying off and everything. You could tell it was all computer generated. Also, there was a line, I'm not usually good at detecting acting or anything, but there's this one line delivered by Gabriel when he was asking Aaron like, oh, are they back? It just didn't feel natural in my opinion, but like I said, I'm not that good of it, like at like, you know, telling what's good acting and what's bad acting. But to me, and like personally me and everything, when he was like asking, oh, are they back and everything, it just didn't sound like natural. It just sounded kind of like cheesy and, you know, But besides all that and everything, this was just a really good episode and everything. And yep, that was my kind of my breakdown review. I do apologize though for having this, you know, review and breakdown out so late and everything. I wanted to have it out by at least like Wednesday or Thursday, but that didn't end up happening because of schoolwork and everything. But next week it is definitely going to be out a lot faster for episode 2 and everything. But I hope you guys did enjoy this breakdown review and anything. Make sure to leave your thoughts down below on the episode, on my thoughts and what do you guys think will happen next. Do you think Daryl, Carol, and Alpha will cross paths and everything after that epic cliffhanger? And make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more of The Walking Dead, you know, stuff, news and reviews, breakdowns and all that and everything. And I'll see you guys later. Peace with my amigos and peace out.